I just started the broadcast at 5:07 for the full moon session, so we got that started.
Okay.
I guess I'll check in as well. Wait. I'm not sure we did the full check-ins yet for the other folks. Did you do a full check-in on everything?
Wait. Okay. Albina.
Steve, we need, Jessica, Albina, we need to know what people are working on and everything.
Yeah, Steve, what you've been working on, Jessica, what you've been working on. You're not completing it.
Okay, last week we did not work much, but I did. We were filling that pre-tabulation verification spreadsheet.
Jessica?
Me too. Yeah, last week I didn't do much. And also, I don't have my laptop. My laptop broken, so last week was a hectic thing. So I only did a little bit on tabulation.
Are you done? I'm happy to do the session. I'm 6. Last week, I did also do much. I did not do any client work because I traveled also in the village. But I did on internal business operation, the post tabulation, MBT verification, and budget. Thank you.
So I am doing okay. It's the middle of the night here, so probably like a 6, maybe a 5.6. I'll do a 5.6 on that. I've been very busy. I've been doing lots of client work with the Mission Within and sponsorship, very active, and also been doing payroll and taxes and lots of other things. Check.
Lucy.
Hello guys. At 6 today. Yeah, I've been working on taxes, worker coordination. So
well, I'm doing my checking. I am on 6 today and happy to join in this session. I was working on taxes and invoicing, team the calendar. Check.
Great. Is that everybody?
All done.
Anyone else? There's 6 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So it looks like we're done with check-ins.
Yeah.
Did everyone get signed up for the positions? Yeah, the positions anyone wants to do. Attendance looks organized session doc. What does organized session doc mean? Organized session doc. What does that mean, Zulu?
I was just initially written there. So should be actually the create doc and link the related docs. This will not applicable.
Create a doc with link with related docs. All right, but it's just not. That's just not considered prep. Okay. That's just considered work. That's just the work that you do for the session. Preparation would be like actually preparing for the session to get something ready. Okay. For example, having the budget ready for the session so that we can actually review and vote on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know if I remember Jessica being here at the beginning with me and Zilu. Do you remember Jessica here, Zilu?
No, I found you only here.
So
Jessica,
Jessica was
how
not.
many minutes were
It was two or three. Our time. It was 3 minutes late.
Wait.
Yeah, 3 minutes late is not on time,
Yeah.
but that's okay. Anyways, we'll just put you at the same as Steve. Okay, so so our attendance. Let's make sure the group is good. Coleman session. We have 6 of us: Albina, Jessica, Lucy, Steve, Zilu. So all of us is good. All right. Evaluation participations.
Jay, I think on Skype group you need to remove some other people on Teams if you have time. On other Teams Skype group.
Like what?
Like Palkram, she gave me. We need to remove her from there. Still on there.
Anything else? That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna do our prioritization. So we're doing our internal team setup, and our 31-degree goals. And just to remind everyone that for the everything below the backlog can be copied and pasted in the backlog.
Okay. You also need to remove Rachel on Sonic.
Thank you.
Also on Dynamic, we have Rachel.
Jessica and Steve, you need to vote on the gaps.
To do what?
Gap. Internal team setup.
Okay. this week.
Just 6 minutes. Position.
All
4
right,
more
so
minutes.
people should be moving towards the monthly goals if you're not there already.
Jessica, can you go to monthly goals? If you are through the internal team setup.
The second term.
Okay. Okay.
I lost Zeno.
All right, we should be wrapping up at this point. Okay, so I think we're pretty much ready to go into our desired outcomes and priority topics. Are there any additional desired outcomes for today? Any other topics? I'd say that, the main desired outcomes would be to, be on top of and ahead with a clear plan to address all, soft/hard priorities. So that would include plan for getting the budget done on time, a plan for coordinating our top priority work. So that's pretty much it.
Can we say I don't know whether it's a proposal or desired outcome, plan to allocate people the priorities regarding on their project. For example, if it is a budget, we just have to have 2 people who are in charge of the budget. Just the one that doing, not like coordinators. They have to do the work for us and make sure the payroll or budget is done correctly.
Okay, so
I think that will help us, yes, when we really have
I think you're saying that you want clarity on doing who's doing what responsibilities, and then the other one is that we want to establish new policy on responsibility and priority organizing. So this basically means that it's not really a new policy, but we're instituting this. I guess we could call it implement. Implement. Basically, you can only work after your responsibility organizing link has been verified. So that's how we make sure the work is done correctly, is that you have your responsibility link, and so you know everything that you're supposed to do, you know what's going on, and then you get verified and assigned to do the work, not beforehand. Does that make sense, Lucy?
Still, yes, but what I need to be implemented is, like, for example, it is a project. The whole of the project should be, we should have someone who is working there, or 2 people just making sure that area is just okay. I should not go if it is a budget. If we give this to maybe, let's say, Steve and Jessica, it is their work to make sure invoice is done, the budget is done, and all this. We can allocate at least 2 projects per person. The project that we see that really it's having demand. If I choose 2 projects, it's me who is going to work on all those projects to make it happen. Instead of I'm working on this responsibility on different projects, again on different projects. Why not allocate people 2 projects per person and see out of those 2 projects that we have responsibilities inside those projects that they can be responsible for.
Okay, sounds fine. So, allocating 2 projects, making sure that each person has at least 2 projects per person.
Yeah.
I think that should be fine. And would these be coordinator positions?
Not really coordinator, just for the work. And although it's more than coordination, because if you are doing the work for those projects, you coordinate as also you are doing it, not like you coordinate someone else will come and do that for you. You have to work and get an outcome from it.
Okay, well, you're not making too much sense there. So, are we assigning responsibilities, or are we assigning coordination positions? I guess we'll just have to figure that out when we get there. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Yeah. So have more clarity on what we are assigning people. Okay. Right. Anyways,
what's review on coordination?
review on tabulation. So we could do that a little bit in the budget section. But section 7 would be the primary. No, that's client invoicing. Let's see here.
Do you want us to get someone who can be
Invoicing
a
is number
coordinator
12.
in charge of communication?
Invoicing is number 12. So maybe we need to prioritize that higher if we want to do that.
Okay,
There, I got it to number 10.
budget.
Invoicing. All right, I got it to number 10. Invoicing, super team invoicing, all that. Any other topics anyone wants to prioritize?
Communication.
Communication.
And who is in charge of communication? So especially on Skype, at least you need to have someone who is under control of that. If people who are not there, they can review and let Jay know we need to get this person now. I think it is very important to have someone who is controlling.
Well, right now, communications is not on our list at all. I think it would be in the backlog, so we can add it. But if it's about communication regarding our work coordination, we can fit it into soft stop, hard stop, or client work coordination, mandatory priority, staff systems. It all fits into all of that, okay?
Yeah.
But we can add it here as an other option as well. All right, so are there any other topics besides these topics? All right, any other desired outcomes or topics? Any objections to our topics? All right, so it looks like we have agreement on our
I only
topic.
have proposal.
What?
Proposal.
I think we're still on our topics.
Okay.
And then after the topics, we'll be going into our schedule review. Okay?
Okay.
And then we can do the proposals. All right, so our scheduling, who's the timekeeper?
Let me see who is the paper.
Oh, no, yeah, Steve.
Steve is sleeping. Steve, thank you.
Yes, I'm timekeeper.
All right, what are you supposed to be timekeeping?
Steve and Jessica.
What are we behind on by 8 minutes?
Steve, you're
Yeah, I can't hear what. I can't hear what he is asking.
What are we behind on by 8 minutes?
The bottom of the first hour. Don't remind us.
Yes. Okay, okay.
What happens at the
Maybe.
bottom of the first hour?
We should take a break.
No.
30 seconds stage.
Yes.
Every bottom of the hour. At the top of the hour, we have a break. So just remind us, Steve.
What should we do at the bottom of the hour?
30-second stretch.
Okay, 30 seconds stretch. Okay.
And top of the hour, do our 5-minute break.
Okay.
So everyone's supposed to stand up real quick and do stretch.
So we should stretch now.
Okay. So what time should we wrap up? So it's almost 6, so maybe we try to wrap up around 7. So 7, wrap up, and then hopefully we'll finish 7:30. That sound good?
Yeah.
So maybe we should also go over our schedule. So what's the next session? 8th moon? Does anyone know the sessions coming up, or do you need me to get them for you?
Just a
Or
minute.
we should schedule linked here at the top. Here's the new world schedule and old world schedule. So you should be able to find all of the sessions there.
Thursday.
We have Cobalt.
30 August have the 8th moon,
Then
and
we have 8th moon of the Cobalt.
At the Cobalt?
We have Cobalt main session, then third 8th moon.
At the same time or one right after another?
No, Cobalt is different time but the same day.
So Cobalt
It's going to
session,
be
then
2
we have
a.m.
8th
our
moon?
time, which is 5 a.m. Always 5 p.m. your time. Then 8th moon is going to be
8th moon is
11 a.m. 11 a.m.
no, the 8th
No.
moon is AM.
11 a.m. our time, Alvina.
Yeah, so you say 8 because if you say 11, then
8 a.m. 8 a.m. UTC.
and
So
the
the
Cobalt
same.
is 7 p.m.
7 p.m.?
11 p.m. Cobalt.
So that would make the 8th moon first, right?
Thursday and Wednesday 11 p.m. is the
Wednesday is the weekly main session Cobalt. Then
Thursday?
Thursday. Wednesday is the Cobalt main weekly session. Then Thursday.
Cobalt
Okay.
is on Wednesday 29th, and the third 8th moon is 30 August of Thursday 8 a.m.
Okay, see how easy that is? It should take maybe about 5 seconds. Cobalt session, 7 p.m., Wednesday the 29th. Done.
Yeah.
Right? It should be really simple to list the schedule. It shouldn't take us 5 minutes to list 2 items. So what happens after that?
After that, we have Mercury perihelion,
My princess.
2nd September, 9 a.m.
We have also dynamic. We won't have dynamic main weekly session. Thursday.
The same that Thursday, by the way.
11 a.m.
Okay, and then what's after that?
9 a.m.
Okay, what's after the
on
Mercury
second
session?
Sunday.
The dynamic is 11 a.m. UTC.
I
Then we
got
have
that one. I got Mercury session. What's after Mercury session?
Bina.
So
Last
we
one.
have Venus Aphelion on 5th September.
No, last quarter.
On 3rd Monday.
Okay, last bottom on 3rd September, 2 a.m.
Okay, last quarter, and then what?
Then the
Then
Venus
Okay,
Aphelion on 5th September,
which day?
8 a.m.
5th Wednesday,
5th September, Wednesday, 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
Okay, and then what?
Then Cobalt.
Then
Then 4th, 8th month.
For the
Same day, Thursday.
the 4th moon on 6th September, 12 p.m.
12
Okay.
p.m.
And then what?
Excellent mass experience. I don't know why. New moon.
There we go. New moon. When's that?
9th September, 6 p.m.
Okay, and you guys don't have a day for that one? All right, so that's the next 2 weeks. So there's a lot of global sessions over the next 2 weeks. Okay?
Yeah.
So that gets us from our full moon to our new moon in the next 2 weeks. Lots going on. So we should go through the entire team and make sure every single person is requested in response to whether or not they're showing up for those sessions. Okay?
Yeah.
In fact, the whole of that month, we are going to rank very low because of the meetings. It's like the whole of the month we have meetings.
You don't have to come. They're all optional. No one's required to attend any of the meetings.
Okay.
But somebody's required to attend some of the meetings. I mean, we can't just like not do them. You know, and we can also do short meetings if we wanted to. We could do them for an hour. We don't have to do any of them longer than that. Also, we could prioritize client work at the meetings.
Yes.
You know, heaven forbid, right? Actually prioritize client work at the meetings. So anyways, lots of ways to work around your concern. Any other questions about the schedule? My personal concern about the meetings is that we're just so far behind, you know, just basic session support and preparing for the Mars session, the Venus session. It's just really sad. So we definitely need to be prioritizing that. My focus mainly is to, you know, just miss all that and just focus on the Legion sessions. Mm-hmm. There's also supposed to be a galactic session that we're not doing. So are there any questions about the schedule? Also, there's supposed to be a schedule voting forms for old and new world. Do we have those? It technically would be a type of proposal.
Steve. I think Steve, we have for all one. Steve, like that.
There should be one for New World as well.
Yes.
So we're supposed to be scheduling the old world and new world. Sure they're at the right time for everybody. So proposals. So the proposals, we have the scheduling vote for Old World and New World. We need to get those linked. Need to link those ones. And then what was the other? I had the proposal for basically that people only work after the responsibly organizing link has been verified. I don't know if there's any objections to that, but if there are, you should bring them up now. Lucy, you said you had another proposal?
Yeah, Steve, can you link the voting form that they are asking for? The one you work on?
Okay. Let
For
me
new,
find it.
then I think you need also to create the form for all world. It's almost the same the way you did for that. Yes, I have a proposal. My proposal is, if for example I'm on budget to I'm with the budget to the Joseph. If Joseph is not going to cover all his budget, and for me I work more than the hours that I was allocated, so I think it is good for me to take the remaining amount, because when we rank, we always rank as a MBT. If our hours for MBT, if both of us have 40 hours, when we meet the target for 40 hours, we have right to take all that money because we meet the target for 40 hours. Then we will see out of us who did not meet the whole hours, because out of this 40, I might have 25 and Joseph has 15. If Joseph has hours, then I will take that amount because I meet the target of the MBT.
Okay, my understanding is that would be a proposal for your buddy team and not necessarily a general proposal, but that's perfectly fine. We can address that in the budget, okay?
Is it applicable to the rest of the people?
I think it was like, I give an example, just like for everyone. I don't really follow my own self. I just give an example, for example, mine, me and Joseph. We can do, if that can happen, I think it is good. Because we run as a budget, as a buddy team, and we always do things as a buddy team. Then why not, if I meet the target of the hours of the buddy team that we need support me, not taking that amount? It is up to my buddy team to make sure he get what he was allocated. If he don't, I have a right to take the amount that he did not work for and I work for it.
So everybody has a right to create and establish their budget as a team. And so if they're making changes to that, they can propose it and make the changes in the budget so that the funds are allocated as agreed upon. Okay? So we can discuss that in the budget section, and it would be per main buddy team, and it would affect the budget, right?
It won't affect budget.
What?
It is just very simple. The only thing I think, due to the staff system that you are coming, is going to be very simple. We run on payroll. We put a column of MBT hours and the budget to see if they allocate that, if they get the total amount for all that. It is now then out of that we see who get the whole amount that was allocated and who did not meet the target. Whoever did not meet the target, the remaining amount for his that was allocated to him should be the next buddy will take that amount because it did not work, it did not finish. and we always.
Okay, well, I mean, if you're talking about invoice tabulation, that would be different. So we can.
Not invoice tabulation, just a budget.
Okay, well, yeah, well, we can talk about the budget section then. It's fine.
Okay, thank you.
But as far as I know, the policy is that the main buddy team decides on their budget, and so if you guys want to redistribute your budget value and there's agreement on that, you can do that. We just need to update the budget, so we can talk about it during that, and we can have the proposals clear, and update and change the budget as needed. Okay.
No.
No. What do you mean no?
I mean, agreeing upon, someone can agree, we agree, yes. We have a budget that allocates between me and Joseph. Like, we can agree, we divide the same. Then, maybe Joseph, again, out of this money we agree on, he did not meet all the hours that he needs to get that money. And for me, I work extra hours. Why not getting that? Because I cannot just maybe say, oh, you are not going to meet the target of your work, no. Let's give you less, We have to agree and we equalize all our amount. But coming back to work, if he don't cover what he was allocated for, and for me I cover, I have to take that money.
Okay, so I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, but I mean, the bottom line, the policies are very clear. When we approve a budget, the budget's approved and very clearly established and laid out, and every single person has an exact budget with an exact number of hours, an exact amount of money, and so that establishes the relationships of everybody in the rankings, right? So it's very important to have a clarity on that. If you're saying that you can just randomly change, hours and budgets without affecting the actual ranking in the budget, that gets really confusing and problematic, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, because you can just do bonuses now, and our focus shouldn't be on base budgets. Our focus should be on actual output and production and deliverables. So the idea that people would just be doing work and getting paid more without having production output and deliverables would be a little bit odd.
Okay, do I did a proposal? If it's not working,
well, no, we just need to understand the proposal. So, I'm just telling you the existing policies. The existing policies allow each main buddy team to distribute the money within their main buddy team as they would like to do, as long as it's agreed upon, right? But that decision affects the budget. It doesn't just affect your distribution of money. Right? You can't just like, oh, I'm just going to get more money, but not have it affect the budget. It doesn't make any sense, right? So the policy as it stands now is that there's the budget, and then we have bonuses and output and deliverables for people who go above and beyond. So if you're proposing something different, I'm fine to look at that. If it has to do with invoice tabulation or something else, we could try to understand your proposal. So we just need to go over it in more detail, but I still think it's under the budget discussion. Right?
Okay, 3 minutes to the top of there.
But Lucy, we can discuss that during the budget discussion?
It's okay, go ahead.
Is it not part of the budget discussion, or it is part of the budget discussion?
We can discuss under the budget.
We can just leave it at that point.
No, we will just discuss under the budget.
I think for me, just you can leave it at that point. I don't have any question again about it. I get it clear.
Okay, but the proposal is perfectly fine. We just need to understand what the proposal is and how it affects the budget and what you're talking about, Anyways, let's move on. So, and everybody should definitely be voting on the scheduling forms for Old and New World. And let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break now. When we come back, we're going to be doing our group setup and priorities. for all of our priorities. So this is just 1 minute on each item to quickly review what our priorities are. Okay, for the next 2 weeks. Alrighty, so I think that's it for now. 5-minute break.
Okay.
Back.
I'm back.
Okay. All right, are we ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this section is definitely difficult. We have a lot of problems usually on our timing on this, but we can certainly try to do our best and see if we can get better at it. So it's just one minute per item. So I'm just trying to fix our goals. All right, so let's get started here. So the first one is the budget goals. Does anyone have the link to the budget? And so Steve, we got to do 1 minute on each of these as best as we can. But does anyone have the budget link to the spreadsheet?
Okay.
So we're gonna wanna make sure we're prioritizing the entire spreadsheet because there is a lot. Obviously, there's also the invoicing. So spreadsheet priorities. The goal would be to start, basically, create the budget. I believe we have the client income from last month, so which is about $700, something like that, or 650 to 700. I don't remember exactly. So now we can budget, which would be fine. And then we also had this main budgeting proposal for the current budget. Are there any other priorities for the budget that we need to go over? I guess the only other thing would be, implement the new post tabulation for individual budgets and main budgeting budgets. So I don't know if we're going to get around to that, but if we want to do that, we would. And also, we have this is the deadline for tabulation, or invoice tabulation, right? As far as I know, I think it's the deadline for invoice tabulation. So that'll go into hard stop or something like that. We have to double check. All right. Anything else on the budget? I think we're good on that. So the next is the new moon goals, and obviously we're going to go back into the budget in much more detail. Just a quick review. So we did make a major mistake on the new moon goals. It wasn't the new moon. So at the prioritization, we were not supposed to prioritize the August-September goals. We're supposed to review them. So we made a mistake here. So can someone repeat that so that next full moon we don't make that mistake? I was middle of the night, I'm tired. It shouldn't have been my responsibility to make sure we didn't do that. So I went back into our new moon from last month and updated the goals based on at least the top 5. We just had the top 5. But so we'd want to go through at least the top 5 here. At Mission Within, I'd say we're doing really good on that. 75%. No taxes is not going so good. I would say we're only around maybe 15, 17% on the Mo taxes. Sponsorship program, I don't know, we're doing okay there. Maybe we're at 55% on sponsorship program. J support, we're not doing anything there. Internal team setup, I'd say we're making a little progress, 40% on that. Legion number services, we're not really doing anything there. Maybe like 3%. So can someone repeat please about what we did wrong and how to fix that for the beginning when we're doing the prioritization? You guys understand?
Come again, Jay.
So at the full moon, we were not supposed to do the prioritization. And also, Steve, you're doing a bad job being timekeeper. You need to get better. Okay. At the new moon, what do we do at the new moon regarding our monthly goals? Do we review our monthly goals at the new moon, or do we create the monthly goals?
We review.
No.
We create monthly goals, then at the full moon we review.
At the full moon, we review. So the full moon, we were not supposed to prioritize our monthly goals. We messed up all of our monthly goals. Big mess, right? Because they're not based on the actual priorities that we made at the new moon. So can someone explain that and figure out how to do it better at the next full moon?
Yeah.
Can someone please just say it? At the next full moon, what are we going to do?
At the next full moon, we need to review our monthly goals and not create them as we did today.
Yes. Okay. Does everyone understand that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that would be the goal. It would be just to review our monthly goals as opposed to creating them. All right. Let's go on to the next one, which is soft hard stop coordination. So again, we have 1 minute on each of these. So Steve, you do 1 minute. You understand?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, let's give it a try this time. So goals on hard stop, soft stop coordination. Obviously, that the actual priorities doc needs to be organized. It is still a mess and difficult to find responsibilities. We obviously need to prioritize finishing the scheduling, and well, let's just do worker involvement, verification. And also we need to prepare for major taxes hard stop.
30 seconds. That topic.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anything else for the soft hard stop? Okay. Let's move on to the super team budgets. So I added that. We do need to get super team budgets. It would be part of the budget discussion, but we never seem to get to it. So I added it as its own. What is the super team budget? When are super team budgets due? How much money do the super teams have? So old world, how much money does old world have?
On the tabulation, 138.
So the questions here are: when is it due? What is a super team budget? When is it due? How much does the old world have? Are you guys just ignoring me, or is this I just getting silence?
Is it a question for the
Yes,
old?
of course it's a question. How much money does the old world have? When is the super team budgets due? What are the super team budgets?
Budget is finalized at the new.
Okay, at the new moon. So it's due at the new moon.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you go on soft stop. And then the quarter moon would be hard stop.
We are 1.5 into this topic.
So how much does the old world have for their super team budget?
On the tabulation. I think it's on the value of the tabulation. Just a minute.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know what's going on here. Why you guys are just basically not being prepared, but this is the super team budgets need to be created and need to be organized. So we need to step that up. Otherwise, we're going to start going on hard stop, etc., etc. Okay.
New world, old world has 537.
Okay.
0.25.
Old world's about 150. All right. Or new world. Okay. Cool. So moving on, recruitment. For recruit,
Not 150, J. New world is 207.
200. All right.
128.
Okay. So recruitment. For recruitment, and that took like 3 times longer than it should have taken. That should have been really quick. Recruitment, we are, we need to prioritize and follow through with, making this a priority. Eventually, it will be a soft/hard stop responsibility, but we're just not there yet. It's not organized enough. So we just need to, and this is also part of member/legion relations that we need to be doing. Overall, there is disagreement here. We need to address the disagreements. Me and Lucy go back and forth a lot. I'm on the side that we need to be recruiting 40 to 80 people globally, primarily volunteers, since our budget is so low. And we need these 40 to 80 people for our super teams and our octants across the world and get our global organization functional. So we need to focus on outreach and volunteer recruitment. And that just needs to happen. I mean, we need to figure this out, especially if we're going to be taking on clients. We want to do more work and bring in more money. We need to be able to do recruitment. Anything else on recruitment? Client work priorities and coordination. All right. So let's do this one. Client work priorities and coordination. Obviously, the priorities doc is a mess and makes no sense. It should be very, very simple. List client, clarify the goals and the work to be done for each client. Right? It's like you go there and you just don't even see the clients, and then there's like random responsibilities, and it's just a big mess. It doesn't make any sense. So that needs to be updated. We need to prioritize the prioritization spreadsheet. And review and vote to prioritize our client work. so that we know what is our top #1 client priority for our regular working. And then we need to be distributing the client work correctly so that we are
1 minute in this topic.
What is it, 28.5% client work overall?
Yeah.
All right, so those are client work priorities. Client invoicing. So we need to start doing client invoicing. This has been an ongoing process for over, like, literally, a year. It's been at least 10 months. And we are just barely getting to the point where we're doing super team invoicing and finalizing and understanding how to do invoicing as a team. So it is going to be time very soon to start doing client invoicing. This is one of the requirements in order to bring in new clients. If we can't invoice and actually bring in the money, then we can't do the work. We can't have clients. It's just not going to happen. So we need to do training on how to compile all client, these will be external client hours. So it's similar, but a little different than internal super team invoicing. So from there, we're going to be doing invoicing for Mission Within and sponsorship. Also, we might want to do World Play. This would be equity. And then possibly Exa, Easy, Exa, Mesh, etc., etc. Okay. So this is our client invoicing. So this would be like 3 to 10, 3 to 5. Anything on the client invoicing questions there? You guys understand? So mandatory priorities is currently not a priority. Focusing on soft/hard stop and client work. So I don't know mandatory priorities, but I think our goal is to get out. The goal is to get out of soft/hard stop. And we did pretty good on the client work. So the client work, as far as I know, we're pretty good on the client work. So everybody remember to do your weekly check-in so that we can update that. Anything on mandatory priorities? Does that sound about right? Or no, I don't think it's really a priority right now. Okay, 6, we go 5.5. There we go. All right, so what's next? Staff systems. How are we doing on time here, Steve? Staff systems is definitely a priority. This is kind of like our new model for the future. We wanna make all staff organizing to be self-sufficient. So basically, this is a training on new processes and systems. So we're already doing this for the new tabulation. But we need to do recruitment. We're going to be doing new payroll systems.
30 seconds on staff systems.
Thank you. We were doing recruitment, new recruitment system, new payroll system, new onboarding systems, and new training systems, including, this also includes our new proposal on and new methods, right? So anyways, it's just like we're gonna redo all the staff systems. The goal is basically one overall staff super system that everyone is trained and empowered on. It could take, I don't know, 3 to 6 months to do this successfully. Any questions on systems? Invoicing, super team invoicing. So we need to do some more training on the post tabulation. So I don't know, like the primary goal here is to do for the first time to do the UMBUS budget pool tabulation. So I don't know if you made any progress on that, Albina, but I believe you were the one working on that.
Yeah, I did for internal business.
Yeah, so if you do that, you want to, bring that up and make sure everyone can see it. And I think we already did the client income tabulation; it's already done.
Yes. And also internal separation.
Well, that would be the UMBUS budget pool tabulation. So this would include internal ops. So, but it's not done until it's actually reviewed, right?
Yeah.
And so it needs to be reviewed and verified, and then we need to do the training on the post tabulation. Okay.
1 minute is up.
And then the goal here is going to be we're going to have a net positive revenue / net negative loss per worker. Okay, so that's going to give us a lot more flexibility in terms of allowing workers to take their value around with them. So if they're net positive or net loss, that will actually give us a lot more flexibility. All right. So any other questions here? I think that's it on the planning priorities here. So that's that. So I don't know if we got within the 10 to 15 minutes on that, but it's really important for us to be reviewing where we are with all of our priorities and goals for the entire, for all of our priorities, right? It's just like a really quick, this is what the work that needs to get done in this particular situation, the next 2 weeks. Okay, does everyone understand how that section of the meeting works? It's a little bit fast, but it helps us get prepared. So now we're going to talk about the budget for 10 to 15 minutes.
3 minutes. 3 minutes to the bottom of the hole.
Oh yeah, we're going to do a stretch first. So our next topic is going to be the budget. And we're talking about the budget for 20 to 40 minutes. And then we're going to go to our new moon goals and priorities, where we're going to be reviewing all the priorities for the other work.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do a stretch break for 30 seconds. Okay, so we're going into the budget now. Again, we've got, I believe, 20 to 40 minutes. I don't think we're going to need 40 minutes on this. Let's just say we're doing 30 minutes on the budget. So the budget has so many things that it's really a whole entire prioritization in of itself. So we need to update this, put the people in and re-prioritize for all of our budget. And then we need to add add some budget items in. So we have the main buddy team budget proposal distribution thing. I think that certainly would be a priority to address now. Oh, also we have the Miguel budget proposal. That's also priority to address now. So new main buddy teams, we dealt with that. All these are kind of all in the past. Inactive members, still pretty important. We're going to want to address that. Updating ranked budget. So if you guys, if someone could come in here and get the spreadsheet organized with all of the people who are currently here. So we want to remove Razu. And we're going to want to remove Abdul. And then if we want to add in anyone, we can add them in. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys can handle that? Is there a reason why it's just so much silence? I don't understand what's going on. Is there a problem or something?
No problem.
No problem.
All right. So, okay, well, I'll ask again. Can someone please handle organizing the budget prioritization spreadsheet? I'm just getting silence. I'm just not, this is really frustrating. Like, why are we just getting silence and silence? We have how many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. If you guys don't want to be here, you can leave. Like, Jessica, you haven't said anything the whole time. Maybe you just need to go. Like, I don't understand why every time I talk and I ask a question, I just get silence.
I'm on this page. Organizing.
So you can handle that? You can do the budget prioritization spreadsheet organizing?
Yeah.
That was meh. Meh is not an answer. Please talk. I'm begging you.
Okay, I'm saying that I'm in the spreadsheet I can organize.
Thank you, Albina. Did you see how you actually said a complete sentence instead of meh? Right? It helps a lot interacting and communicating when you actually speak in sentences in English, which is what we're all here to pay to do. All right, and then everyone can vote if they would like to as well. So let's make sure that everything is included so that it's all here.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Oh, look, it's Abdul. You want to check in, Abdul?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm pretty good today. I'm back in my city. I'm feeling 6.5 today. I'm available from today. I'm trying just to help this community to start the supposed to run.
I can't hear what Abdul said in the last 2 sentences. Anyone hear him?
We can't hear all.
Can you?
Abdul, do you want to try again? And give us your update?
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you. You can try again and see if it works.
Today, and I'm back now. And from now, I'm available to work in this community. And I'm feeling 6.5 today.
And did you get your what you've been working on in there? Did anyone hear what Abdul's been working on?
I want to working on the surface from harvested varieties. And after today's sessions, I select the top two responsibilities from harvester and surfacer.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Abdul. So currently, Abdul, we are doing budget prioritization spreadsheet to get our budget priorities all organized.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Harvester and surfacer priorities are many. Be specific on the priorities you're working on. Don't say harvester and surfacer priorities, because we have a lot of priorities that under that. Kindly just be specific.
Yes, which I understand what you ask. I just choose from this list top one that are harvester. So I choose first this first two, and then start working. And I'm available today, and also formal session. Go on.
I don't know, I'm not getting you. Okay, anyway. Do you say you want to work on priorities, surfacer priorities, or you have been working on surfacer priorities?
Yeah, first of all, I want to select one, then start working.
Oh, you want to select? Okay, thank you. Just say you want to select to work on that.
Okay.
So I'm not sure exactly why the proposal came so low. It's rank number 15. Recruitment budget got ranked the top, and then updating the ranked budget. Nolabra and Jessica are ranked really high. Anyways, I mean, it looks like that there's a lot of updating to do on this budget spreadsheet. I would say that our priority should be the main buddy team budget distribution proposal from Lucy. And then
we can return again. We did not do. Average was up to 8.
No, even Albina did not update on it on her.
Update what?
Albina, on your priorities.
Which priorities?
On this form, the one we are voting, you did not update anything, just like or you don't want to update it.
I did.
We are 8 minutes into this topic.
I was just saying we need to re-rank again because it was just, the average was from G to L. I included Abdul there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the problem. Let's see if this changes anything. Oh, here we go. Maybe that helps.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll just update it incorrect here. So updating rank budget number 1, inactive members, invoice review. Review rankings and inactive workers and budgets. I think that can go down a little bit. Lisa Miguel, recruitment budget. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not sure exactly what else we can do about all this, but maybe there's not too much to talk about. But I would say that we would do the main buddy team budget distribution proposal and then deal with Miguel and then maybe invoice tabulation questions. I mean, I don't know what else we need to go over, but you know, if we wanted to go over any of these, I mean, we could, but it's just, I mean, I don't know. Does anyone have any questions about updating the ranked budget? I mean, we're obviously not going to do the work right now because it would take way too long. But if we need to spend like 5 minutes on answering any questions about updating the rank budget, who's going to do it? When is it going to happen? So this will be a plan for getting the budget updated and finalized ASAP. So who's going to be working on the budget? So last month we went on budget hard stop because we were just not really following through with the budget. So, you know, we need the main steps. Step one would be just like, you know, updating the ranked budget based on people's current budget proposals. Like this would be with the main buddy team current budget proposals. So that should be really simple and easy for anyone to do. Anyone should be able to do this. It shouldn't take longer than like 1 to 2 hours. Step two would be, you know, creating actual budget proposals, starting with, you know, I think it's what, there's like $600 from our income. This is a little more difficult. It could take, you know, 2 to 4 hours and might need some training. We definitely need to do responsibility organizing on this one. So if a new person wants to take that on, yeah. And then step three would be the HR board voting form. So who's going to be doing step one, step two, step three?
We are 12 minutes into this topic.
Like, isn't this exactly what you were talking about, Lucy? Is to have clarity on who is doing each of the steps of the budget?
Yeah, I think
I was talking the whole thing. The one who can be responsible for every step. Like if it is budget, that person is making sure MBT rank budget is okay.
So that would be the budget. That would be the budget coordinator.
But you see that is not gonna work. So okay, we just have to.
Are you talking about the budget coordinator?
No, coordinator is just to coordinate. You know, someone who is working on that. If we can cap that policy, trust me, we will move ahead. If we say this person is just in charge of that project, like most of the time,
project is the budget, right?
Most of the worker coordination work is always focusing on taxes. Why not getting people to work on a specific project and all the priorities, responsibilities that under that they have to make sure it's okay.
But Lucy, for the budget is very wide. We cannot get one person to work on step 1, 2, 3. That's why Jesus is responsible on step 1, 2, 3. The way we do for payroll.
Yeah.
No, Albina, we need to enforce another policy whereby we have someone who is in charge, or two people who are in charge of budget, making sure budget is okay. Instead of randomly calling, we are working on this.
That's the budget coordinator.
That's the coordinator.
Coordinator is not doing work, just coordinate.
But the coordinator can assign themselves to do the work. They're responsible for making sure the work is followed through with. And the budget coordinator can assign themselves to step 1, 2, and 3.
So, Steve, step 2 is Zulu, step 3 is Abdul. We know 3 people are responsible for step 1, 2, 3 on budget. Then we have a coordinator to do a follow-up.
It's still there, we are missing things.
Because if we say one person working on the whole budget,
you don't get me, Albina, why I'm saying so. Let's say.
So guys, I think that we're just running around in circles here. Like let's just think about what used to exist. What used to exist is that Joyce was here, and Joyce did the budget. Joyce was the budget coordinator. She coordinated the entire budget. She did more than half of all the budget work. She did step 1. She did step 2. She did invoice tabulation. Joyce did all of the budget work. She's not here anymore, so the budget doesn't get done.
She was not only doing alone, Jay.
I didn't say she was doing it alone, but what I'm saying is that what you're describing is exactly what Joyce used to do. She used to be the budget coordinator and she would follow through with doing all the budget work. So if someone wants to step up and do what Joyce used to do, then there's nothing that needs to be discussed. We just need someone to step up and put their name as the budget coordinator who wants to work on step 1, step 2, and step 3.
Okay,
Done,
I
and we
can
can
do
move
that.
on.
Jay, I can do it. I'm interested to do budget coordinator.
Can anyone understand Abdul?
No, Abdul, you are not.
Yes, can you hear me, Jay?
Mhm.
I'm interested to be a budget coordinator.
All right, so Abdul is down to be the budget coordinator. Does anyone want to work with Abdul on budget coordination? All right, so Abdul, when are you going to have your position organizing completed by?
Yeah, I can finish this process within tomorrow.
You're going to have your budget. You're going to have your budget position organizing by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. How about Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah, that will be fine.
So what are you going to do when you have finished doing your budget prioritization organizing? This is the same thing as responsibility organizing, except it's your position organizing. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So what are you gonna do? When you have your budget position organizing complete, what are you gonna do, Abdul?
Okay. Then budget coordinators, I need to completed the budget process. When this budget will be completed, so I need to organize the process.
Okay, so my question to you is, when you have your first draft budget position organizing updated, right, what are you going to do with it? And this is going to be on Monday or Tuesday, Tuesday, maybe even tomorrow. You're going to have your first draft, your budget position organizing updated, all your priorities, what you're going to do as a budget coordinator. What are you going to do at that point on Monday or Tuesday when you've finished your first draft?
So I think I'm a little bit confused here.
I can't hear. I can't understand. Can anyone else answer the question? What do you do when you're doing responsibility organizing or you're doing position organizing, and you feel like you've done a first round of it and you feel organized?
Before Monday and Tuesday, I organize the responsibility organizing about the budget.
This is going to be position organizing. This is position organizing for the budget coordinator.
Yeah.
What does everybody do after you finish organizing? What do you do? Do you just do nothing and you just go on to something else and completely ignore it and pretend like it never happened? What do you do?
First of all, I just organizing the doc first, and secondly,
No, that's what we're just talking about. You're organizing the doc, where you're going to have a first draft of the organizing of the budget position. That's what you're going to do by Monday or Tuesday, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you already said that 5 times. My question has nothing to do with that. My question is, after you do that, what are you going to do? What's the first thing you're going to do after you finish that?
Okay. So I choose 2 or 3.
No, it should be a 5-second answer, right?
Yeah.
What I'm hearing from Abdul, what I'm hearing from all of you is that after you do your responsible organizing, you just go on to something else and you completely ignore it. You don't do anything.
No.
What do you do?
You do responsibility organizing for the budget. Then you put all the links in the budget project.
No. Okay, let's go back to the top. The new policy that we're voting on and that we're all talking about is the proposal is to implement policy that workers only start work after your responsibility organizing link has been verified. Right? after you do responsibly organizing, you do not just go on to something else. What do?
You ensure that the responsibility organizing link is verified before you start working.
Okay, so how are we going to do that, and how does that apply to Abdul?
He send it to you. He'll send it to you for verification.
Okay, that's a little better, but that's not exactly correct, but it's closer. So we want to get it verified, and the way you get it verified is you send it to someone. Who do you send it to?
To Jay.
No.
Escape group.
That was pretty close. What was that again? Could someone repeat it? Can you repeat that, Abdul?
Yes, when I organize the responsibility organizing, then I need to escape messages that this responsibility organizing is
okay.
verified.
So I can Skype the president of Zimbabwe. I could Skype my mom. I could Skype whoever I wanted to. Who are you sending it to?
The team.
Yeah. Yes, you're going to send it to everybody on the team so we can all review your work. Okay?
We are 20 minutes into this topic.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So then it will either get verified, will either be verified and approved, or we will have recommendations for changes and updates. Okay, and then it'll go back and forth until it's verified and finalized, and then you can start implementing your coordinator position. You get it?
Okay, I got it.
All right, super simple. You get organized, and then you don't just randomly start doing things. You get your organization verified, and you send it to the team, and everyone reviews it together to make sure you're organized in the work that you're doing so that you're actually helping. All right?
Okay, Jay.
Does anyone want to work with Abdul on the budget coordination? Okay, also, Abdul, I want to add to your priorities is to basically you need to interview Lucy and Albina because they've been working on the budget the most. And then obviously if you can get in touch with Joyce, that would also be ideal so that you can figure out what you're doing.
Okay.
All right, step 1, step 2, step 3. Who's doing step 1, step 2, step 3?
I think
I can do step 1.
step 3.
Jessica. Okay, so Jessica, what are you gonna do? What's your first step?
Once.
Does anyone want to work with Jessica on step 1? Nobody? What is your first step, Jessica?
I can help from that.
Abdul?
Okay, I can.
Yeah.
Steve, you want to help with the step 1 as well?
This is step 3. So you will be doing step 1 and 3?
Yes, I'll do both of them.
Okay.
Step 3 and step 1. I'll be helping Jessica.
Okay, and then
Step 1, then
what is going to be the first thing you're going to do for step 1? Jessica, Abdul, and Steve, what are you going to do? What is the first thing you're going to do for step 1?
Responsibility organizing first.
Yes, thank you. Responsibility organizing. Oh, I love to hear those words. You have no idea. You're going to do the responsibility organizing process, and you're going to get the link. It's going to be training videos. You're going to have all of it all organized, and then you're going to send it out to the group and get it verified. Okay? As far as I know, there should already be a link for that particular responsibility. We shall see. Also, you're going to talk with Lucy and or Albina about how they did it. from last month. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Step 3 should be fine. It's also just not a priority right now because we're not there.
We are
Step
only
2.
left with 5 minutes on this topic.
Okay. Step 2. Step 2. What's step 2? Who's gonna do step 2? How about Lucy and or Albina? You guys have the most experience.
Okay, step 2.
Albina, you want to help with step 2?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm down to help out with that, and do some more training. Obviously, we're going to be doing the responsibility organizing. There are training videos from sessions where we do, where I show how to do the budget proposals. It's not that hard. Also, we need to consider, are we going to do the complex method? For now, it is not necessary or prioritized.
You know, Jay, we did the complex budget last few months, and again you come and cross. You don't use. Sometimes it's like we are doing it's not good. If we don't use something, no need of working on that.
Okay, I mean, if the complex method doesn't just magically happen. We actually have to go over it and review it and verify it and double check it, triple check it. It just hasn't happened yet. So we keep bringing it up as an option, but then it never actually happens. But anyways,
it happens. We work with Albina. When you finish everything, when you come, you cannot consider using that option.
That's not true at all. That's just simply not true. Last time we went over the budget. All the information was not there. We did not have the ranked
That was last time
HR
because
rankings.
we did not have to use it because you from the first you say we need a complex. We did that with Albina. Then you did not use it. So when we create the MBT budget, we ignore that because we see like we don't really use it.
I don't know why we're even talking about this or arguing about it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay.
If we get it done, then we'll use it. We just create. Like you're telling me you created budget proposals with the complex budget model. I don't see these budget proposals from last month using the complex budget model. If it was done, it was completed, and everything was verified and double, triple checked, we would have had budget proposals from the complex business model. We didn't. We don't have it. So if we want to do it, we just do it. But it's not going to happen unless we put in the work and actually follow through with all the steps. It's more complex and it's more work. So it takes a lot more follow through and review and verification to make sure it works. We didn't do that, which is why we didn't use it. So if we want to use it, we need to go over it. Saying that we did do it when we obviously didn't do it, it is not going to help anything. It's certainly not going to make us use it just by saying that it was done and completed correctly, because it wasn't. All right, so Albina, what are you going to do for the proposals?
Responsibility organizer.
We are left with only 2 minutes.
Okay.
Then
And we're also at the top of the hour.
And Steve, and Jessica, you guys are going to need to do some responsibility organizing on that as well. Yeah, and for Steve, you don't have to wait for the HR board voting form to be ready. You can start doing the responsibility organizing ahead of time.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So so it looks like we have a plan. Is there anything else for the plan for getting the budget updated and finalized? So, this could all happen this week, or we could wait to the last minute during or after the new moon. All right, so do we want to go over the main buddy team budget distribution proposal, or any of Miguel's proposal he had a proposal for back pay, right? $150. Are there any questions on invoice tabulation? So I think it's really just these two proposals. So which one do you want to do first? And also, I believe that
I was not saying to do distribution budget. My proposal was different, not for distribution.
Okay, well, what is your proposal? Do you understand
If
the current policy?
The proposal that I have wasn't that going to help, so I don't want that proposal. I was not proposing for distribution for budget, please.
Okay, well, you need to make your proposal clear, and we need to understand the current policy and what would change based on your proposal and how the policies would change, right? So it's important for us to all understand the current policy, what you can already do. If you want to change your budget for your main buddy team, you can just do it right now and it's done. And then you don't have to worry about it. If you want to make a policy change proposal, then make sure the proposal is clear so that we can all vote on it.
Okay. I'm okay now.
Excuse me.
But not distribution, please. I was not there for that.
Well, I mean, Steve, what's up?
Yes, I'm saying that the time is up on this topic, and also it's at the top of the hour.
Okay, well, let's take a 5-minute break here. But then let's go ahead and vote on these proposals and take a couple extra minutes. But Lucy, the biggest problem here is, I mean, in my perspective, is simply that you just don't have a proposal. I'm not hearing a proposal from you. I hear a bunch of ideas and, you know, confusion.
I said before, let's leave it for now.
So you're saying...
Then I was not talking about distribution of MBT budget distribution. That was not my proposal.
Okay, then tell us what your proposal is so we understand it. If you don't tell us the proposal, then we don't... Like, what is the name of your proposal?
I'll come up with it next time. It's okay for now.
Okay, but that's just really confusing, you know. But either way, we should still go over the policy so that it's clear, you know. Policy on changing main buddy team proposals.
I think Lucy was talking about Jay, for example. She's in the MBT with Joseph. Then that month, Joseph did not accomplish the hours. Then Lucy worked extra hours. She was just requesting if it is like we can do it as a proposal that the like in the MBT they have like to accomplish like 40 hours. Then she works extra hours and they accomplish their 40 hours in the MBT. So she was requesting if the person in the MBT has to take the amount of that person who worked less hours, if it is possible.
And my answer is yes, of course it's possible in the distribution of the budget of the main buddy team. Because the main buddy team controls their own budget. So it's completely possible under the existing policies. It just needs to be a clear proposal about how much money does Lucy want more than Joseph. That's the proposal. You understand?
So that is what she was talking about. Then you said it's going to affect the budget, the entire budget.
Of course it affects the budget. Why would it not affect the budget?
Okay, I think that was what, unless Lucy had something, but that is what I got.
So let's go ahead and link.
Also, let it be for now.
No, we don't have to do that. We can actually address it as a team and make sure we solve the issue so that we're all on the same page. So
it was not an issue, just like, you know, when you distribute it's different, Albina. It's very different.
Did I explain right or I did wrong? Because that is what I got it from you.
Well, yeah, everything is perfectly fine, minus that you guys are actually looking at the budget. So we need to actually look at the budget, and I'm going to link the budget right here. So if we go to the budget that was approved, it'll have the exact distribution of the budget between between the people in the main buddy team. In this case, it has two people, Lucy and Joseph. And then you would just propose to change it. So here would be the final budget. It's main buddy team, Lucy and Joseph. And then you come over here, and then you have the distribution. Lucy 191 for 19.99 hours. Joseph 159 for 15 hours. That's the distribution of the budget. So if you want to change the distribution of the budget, you just need agreement between the main buddy team, and then everybody updates the budget. It's a budget proposal to change the distribution of money for Lucy versus Joseph. Does that make sense, Albina? Or am I totally off the block? So if you want to move money from Joseph to Lucy, that's perfectly fine. In addition, we added $100 specifically for Lucy and Albina, right? Instead of $50 going to Lucy and Albina, it really was just $25 for Lucy and Albina and $25 for Joseph and Steve. So the only way to redistribute those funds as intended, based on the $100 that was specifically added for Lucy and Albina, is to do a redistribution of the funds, right? So in other words, take money from Joseph and put it into Lucy's.
No.
What do you mean, no? What are you talking about? I don't understand. You're talking about hours. You're saying that Joseph didn't work hours and that you're adding hours to yours.
I was giving like an example, just a proposal as an example. I did not say go and change maybe Joseph amount. It was just like my own opinion. If somebody allocated that money, then by the end of the month, that person did not accomplish the money that was allocated. And for me, I accomplished until I have more hours. Is it possible for me to just get that amount because it was within our budget?
And I'm telling you, under the current policies, yes, there's two ways you can get that money. Option number one is to just do actual work and get the work done and have output, and then you get a bonus, you get all the money you want. Option number two is you just have agreement to change the distribution of the money between you and Joseph so that you agree on your budget distribution and the hours and the money that's distributed between your main buddy team. And then the budget is changed, and then you get paid change, and it's different on your hours and everything. Done. So there's two ways to do that.
I think okay.
So if you have a third way and you want to propose a different way of getting that money, you can do that. But the idea that this is just an example is a waste of time.
The
you should have a clear
proposal is not fine the way, my proposal is not the way you say it's fine, but the way I need to be, but it's not fine to me. Because I cannot say, let the redistribute this money again. I get some cash from Joseph to mine. How sure I am? Maybe Joseph will work extra hours and get his money. It's like my proposal was to get the fund that remained as an MBT if I meet my target. And Joseph, he did not meet. But I'm not sure he's not going to meet or he will meet. That's why I cannot just go back and get his money back to me, thinking that he's not going to accomplish his hour. That is not my proposal.
But the problem with that proposal is that we all work as individuals. So basically, you're just saying the proposal is just to get extra funds, for your own work, not based on the budget. So it would have nothing to do with the budget, and you're just getting extra funds.
I think the proposal is not, I think it's not that clear. Let's just leave the proposal. It's not, I did not mean to go and redistribute the money again. That was not, I just mean by the end of the month, me and Joseph, we have how many? If it is 350, did you work for all these hours that we accomplished? Yes. And then who works more? Like that. I did not say I go back and and take his money, how sure am maybe he will accomplish his budget? The way distribution is okay for me for now, but if he don't accomplish what it was distributed for him, what was allocated for him, and for me, it's my budgeting, and I accomplish my hours, what next step you say is okay, but it's not okay. You talk of bonus. Bonus is different from MBT distribution. You talk of output, deliverable, are very different from MBT distribution. Distribution even different from that. Instead, I say let's just leave about that. Maybe next time I will come up with another proposal that is making sense.
But it sounds like your proposal does make sense, that basically that you don't think that Steve should be accountable to doing his work, and that the other buddy should just be able to, you know, like let's say like I could just choose anybody I wanted to, you know, buffer their budget a bunch and then have them not work and then just take more money. You know, so the less work that my buddy does, the less accountable I hold him, the more money I can take for myself.
Can we leave this proposal then?
I think we should just vote on the proposal.
No, let's just leave the proposal.
I mean, I think the proposal sounds perfectly reasonable. I don't see any problem with the proposal. The problem for me is the actual policy. Right? So you're saying that you can have two buddies, right? One as you know, let's say they're each $250 each, and then by choosing a buddy who works very little and does no follow through, and the other buddy can get up to an extra $250. Is that? I mean, that's what I'm hearing. Is that true, Albina, or am I missing something?
I think it's true.
You know, so I think the proposal is perfectly fine. I personally would just vote no on it. If it's basically you can just grab and take the money from your buddy, from your main buddy with no approval, and change your own pay and your own budget with no one even understanding it or not being proposed or approved in the budget. I think that that you should be focused more on getting a new buddy who's actually doing the work, and that you should fire your buddy who's not doing the work, and that's a more appropriate outcome. If your buddy's not doing their work, that should be a problem, not a reward, in my opinion. But if that's not the proposal you're proposing something else, then we should hear it. Otherwise, I would vote no on it. So if this proposal is correct, then we should just vote on it, and then we're good. But the question is the proposal correct? Lucy, are you saying the proposal is not correct?
I think you don't get me. I said, can we leave the proposal and move on to the other thing? You still insist on this.
Well, can anybody get you? Can Albina get you? Can Abdul get you? Can Jessica get you? Can Steve get you? Anyone?
No, I just say, for me, that was my proposal, and I decided not to go further for that proposal.
But that's not acceptable. You don't take a half an hour of a meeting and propose a proposal that no one understands. Then we're here trying to support you and understand your proposal so that it can be voted on. That's the point of a proposal.
Oh my God. Jay, I start at the beginning. We leave the proposal. We continue. You go back to that. We even spent 5 minutes on that before we said, let's leave this proposal. I don't know. Again, you still go back to that proposal, and now you say we spend a half an hour. Oh.
I don't even understand what the proposal is. I mean, if the proposal is not correct and it's not a correct proposal, then fine. Go and update the proposal and bring it back. But don't blame anyone else that we can't understand your proposal. And it just feels like you're not presenting the proposal as a team. I don't understand. I mean, if you have a proposal, just share the proposal. We all vote on it. It's very simple. It shouldn't even take that long. But instead, you're saying that you have a proposal, but you're not sharing it, and you're not going to tell us what the proposal is. It's a manipulation of the process. You can't do that. If you have a proposal, you need to just present the proposal as is. Otherwise, it's a manipulation of the process, right? You can't secretly have a proposal that no one can know about. It doesn't make any sense. There's either a proposal or there's not a proposal. If you don't have a proposal, the proposal isn't correct, that makes sense. Do you understand? So there's either is no proposal, or there is an incorrect proposal, that our understanding of the proposal isn't correct and the proposal is simply wrong.
We can just leave it at that point. Maybe Lucy will reframe again the proposal next time. If we get clear on the proposal, then we can vote it clearly. For me now, I can't even vote anything on that.
So again, in the proposal process, for any proposal, what you can't have is you can't have a secret proposal is not allowed, right? So your only options is either to have, no proposal, or to have a failed, attempt at a agreed upon correct proposal, right? That there's some sort of problem with the proposed language, that it isn't correct for some reason, right? Other option is that you then have, have clear proposal and you vote on it. It's very simple. 99.9% of the time, you just have a clear proposal. You go through the simple questions. Are there clarifying questions for the proposal? Are there concerns? And then you vote. It takes a couple seconds. It doesn't take very long or a couple minutes to go through the questions. But right now, we can't even ask questions because we don't even have a clear proposal to even ask questions about, right? Currently, we can't ask questions because we have no clarity on what is going on. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So there's a major problem in just like the understanding as a team to understand how proposals work. Everybody's empowered to have a proposal. If you have a proposal, you bring it up and then it's addressed because you are an equal empowered team member, right? But you can't bring up proposals that you then are removing and depowering. That once you bring up a proposal to the team, it's no longer your proposal, it's everybody's proposal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like to bring up a proposal and then change it for your own personal gain would be a manipulation of the process. Right? Once you bring up a proposal to the team, it becomes the team's proposal. Right? So basically changing things in and out for own personal gain would be a manipulation of process. So I don't know if anyone understands the proposal, but right now our goal would basically that there either is no proposal and nothing was ever proposed because there was simply just no proposal, or there should be just some type of incorrect attempt at proposing the proposal, like that this proposal that we propose is not the correct proposal for some reason. But anyways, I mean, I guess we can just move on and just pretend that there was no proposal, I guess. I don't know. It just seems all very, very odd. Otherwise, we should just vote on the proposal as proposed.
Let's assume there is no proposal, then we move on.
I think the proposal is not clear, so voting for something that is not clear, it can't work.
If you know what the proposal is, then it can work. It doesn't have to be perfectly clear. The question is whether the proposal is correct. I mean, my personal take on it is that this is the proposal, and that for whatever reason, Lucy's disagreeing with it because she knows that it might not pass or something. I don't know. I just don't really understand. But I'm also tired. It's the middle of the night, so I don't know. Let's go ahead and take our break, and then we can go from there. Should we take a break, or should we just keep going?
Since we did not take a break at the top of the hour, we should take it now.
Okay.
Hello, Jay.
Yeah.
Before I want to go now before the break.
Okay. You want to check out, Abdul?
Sure. I rated the sessions as 5.5. And I'm looking work on responsibility organization on budget coordinator, budget coordinators, and want to work on top 2 priorities that on Addiston and Shopper. So I will be available today on Android session and also Kabul session.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Abdul.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you all. Bye.
So, what I would propose at this point is that, you know, we just wrap up and check out. I mean, I think we're pretty good where we are. Does anyone object to just wrapping up and checking out as a group, and then we don't need to take a break? All right.
Yeah, we can.
So let's just go ahead. Let's go ahead and wrap up. So anyways, we'll just say there was no clear proposal or no proposal on that one. And just to make sure it's clear on anything budgetarily related to getting paid any amount of money for anything requires the following. Requires, you know, person A gets X amount of dollars. Okay. Or budget B is equal to X amount of dollars. Right? So there's in the current policies, there's never going to be a time where someone's going to be paid an unknown amount of money that is based on their ability to get someone else not to do work. That's currently not our policy. Right? So if you want to get paid, you need to have a clear, this is the person, this is how much money they're getting, or this is the budget, and this is how much money the budget is. And then if the person's applicable to the budget, they can get a portion of the budget. All right, so as an example of a very simple, clear proposal, you have Miguel proposes a back pay of $150. So you have person A is Miguel, and they're requesting $150. So for all of us, it is extremely clear exactly what the proposal is, exactly how much money it is, and what the outcome will be. And then it's totally transparent. Without that, there's no transparency, right? Without clear, you know, connection of money to person. There is no transparency. So let's go ahead and vote on this for Miguel, and then we'll check out. Okay.
No, I need you to get clear. I did not say I need to get more money for my MBT. And proposal was not mine. Why are you making it seem like Lucy need more money, but for his MBT or her MBT need low money? And the proposal was just like, if the proposal was not clear, we move on. You said, you need to get more money. That's not good. I did not say I need more money from my MBT. There is no day, even when we allocated money, I took more than that Joseph get. I always distribute everything equally. I cannot say I get more than him. If it is to reduce 50, both of us will reduce 50. I have never did that, putting mine more than Joseph, reducing mine less than for Joseph. I have never done that.
Okay, but I didn't say that you did that either, did I, Albina? Do you understand what
you did.
Lucy's asking?
You did not.
What I'm saying, Lucy, is that it's perfectly fine for you to ask for more money, but you have to do it in a transparent way. Like we have no, and I don't think any of us have any problem with you getting paid more money at all. The only issue is that Joseph needs to agree to it, and everybody needs to be able to see in the budget how much money you're getting paid for how many hours. As long as that's the outcome, we're all in agreement, right? But what is difficult is having the idea that people are getting paid based on other people not doing work would be very odd to me. Like you should be getting paid based on your work, and it should have nothing to do with anyone else. It should be your work because you did it and you completed it, and it's your budget and it's your work. Or you're getting a bonus.
I just regret coming up with that proposal. It really challenged me and gave me a lot of other issues. Sometimes when you challenge someone, you really limit someone from coming up. That was not mine. But the way you reference this thing up there, it look like I need my own money, such a thing. You let somebody to be like, you say we need to be transparent, don't have a secret. Why are you coming with all that?
That's just our policy. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with general policy.
My proposal. That's not politics. Sometimes, when you say that because of my proposal, don't keep secret. I don't have any secret regarding the budget. Go all through my budget. If there is any amount that is higher than.
No, but you're just not explaining your proposal. You keep saying you have a proposal, yet you're not willing to just tell us what the proposal is. What is the proposal?
Then I was saying I have a proposal. So then you say, that if the proposal going to affect the policy, then I say, okay, let's leave the proposal from there. We continue.
Every single proposal affects policy automatically forever, always. It's impossible to make a proposal that doesn't affect policy. They're one and the same thing. That's what a proposal is it changes
and the
policy.
Proposal was not mine. The proposal was just like if it can happen to each and every one worker, not specifically for Lucy.
Okay, but what is the proposal then? What is it that each and every worker can do?
We leave the proposal, but the thing is, I don't like the issue when you say that, we don't need a secret proposal. It seems like I have a secret proposal. I don't have any secret proposal. If you want to talk about secret for proposal, let's have a time.
Do you have a proposal?
That's not when Lucy was trying to propose something.
Okay, but do you have a proposal?
I don't have for now.
Did you have a proposal?
I was having, but it is incorrect. Maybe in future I'll ask.
I mean, if you have a proposal, then it should be very simple to give it. Like Albina, do you understand, or does anybody understand Lucy's proposal? Albina?
Lucy said the proposal should not be now. It's incorrect. I will have to do it.
I did not understand the proposal. That's why I said we move on, and unless we reframe it again and we understand, that is when we can vote on the proposal. But for now, no.
So do you understand the problem, Lucy?
There is no problem there. it is me who said I don't want that proposal for now.
But
I'll
what
just have to
proposal?
come
The
up with
problem
that
is you
proposal.
keep
You know,
referring
I
to
just
a
talk because
proposal.
when you write something there about transparency and secret, I don't have any secret. That's why I just talk about that.
Tell
about
us
the
what your
secret.
proposal is. You keep referring to a
I don't have
proposal.
any secret.
Okay,
How
then
can I
tell us
have
the
a secret
proposal.
proposal for not even coming to the organization? So how can that secret proposal help me?
If you have a proposal, or if you had a proposal, you would just tell us the proposal. Then it's transparent and open. Everyone can hear and ask questions about it. Instead, you're blocking us from even communicating from the very beginning. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't have any secret and I don't block you guys.
Just tell
And
us
I'm
the proposal.
sorry for coming up with the proposal.
If you have a
Thank you.
proposal, just tell us the proposal. I beg you. I'm just begging you to tell us the proposal so that
No,
we can.
no, I'm not going to say anything
Then that
about
would
that
be a
proposal.
secret. If you refuse to tell us, then it's a secret. Do you understand why I would use the word secret? If you have a proposal and you don't tell us, then it's a secret.
It's secret, huh?
Because you refuse to tell us what it is. You're saying you have a proposal, but that you refuse to tell us and you're keeping it secret to yourself. So then we as a team can't evaluate and review the proposal as a team. It's a secret.
Okay, then sorry. If it is a secret, then next time I won't do that.
Of course you shouldn't do that next time, because that's a manipulation of the process and you're holding the whole team hostage by not telling us the proposal. Right? It's like very odd experience. Like, so if Steve came up and he was like, oh, I have a proposal. If someone has a proposal, everything stops. The entire group, based on our policies, must focus on that proposal and address it, because everyone's equal to have equal proposal rights. And then Steve tells us the proposal, and then we discuss the proposal and we vote on it. It's a very normal, typical process, right? If Steve tells us, oh, actually, I'm going to keep my proposal secret, but I still have a proposal, so now the group needs to vote on the proposal and address the proposal, but he's not going to tell us, then that it creates a whole, conundrum of actually being able to deal with it as a team. So now there's this secret proposal out in the ether that Steve controls that we all need to deal with, because we have to deal with every proposal that's proposed, but we don't know what it is, so we can't actually address it as a team. And so therefore it just hangs over us and it becomes an issue, right? And it's always going to be an issue until it's addressed or until Steve goes away, right? Does that make sense? How it would be very odd for Steve to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you have a proposal, you just present your proposal, regardless of whether it's good or bad. It's just, you just present it. It's a proposal. Every proposal is considered equal to every other proposal. You just vote on it. It either passes or it doesn't pass. There's nothing wrong with the proposal not passing. And then it can be amended, and then you can improve upon it, and then you can continue to work it until we find a solution. By creating a secret proposal, there's no solution, no ability to work as a team, no ability to actually address it, no way to move forward. It just creates a block. And then the whole ability to communicate and make decisions together falls apart. So if you have a proposal, or you had a proposal, or that if a proposal even exists, you should just explain it so that we can write it down in as much detail as possible. Like, do you want to just try to re-explain your idea?
No, I have no proposal for now. Thank you.
Albina, do you want to try to explain what Lucy was talking about before?
I have no proposal now. Thanks. What else?
I'm asking Albina if she would like to try to explain what you were talking about before.
Yeah, what I had is that, for example, I'm in MBT with Steve. Then Steve did not work for much more hours that month. Then instead of that
I
money,
not
just
meet
going
my
to that.
target. That
Yeah, just wait. You will explain yourself later. Then, instead of just letting that money go, and for me, I worked more extra hours, then I take the amount from Steve because we are in the MBT.
That sounds perfectly fine. So this is what I heard is that the example is that, like, if I'm buddy team with Steve, so example is that if Albina is main buddy team with Steve, that if Steve did not work that many hours for that particular month and he didn't meet his target, goals for hours and pay, that instead of just letting that money go, that for me, and this would be Albina, Albina, that since I work extra hours, then I could take that amount from Steve because we're in the main buddy team together. That seems pretty clear to me as far as like a proposal. Is that even slightly correct, Lucy? Are we anywhere close?
I don't have a proposal for now. I say we leave that proposal. Why are you still insisting on that?
Because everything is constantly an exercise of training and working together as a team and how to address proposals and how to communicate and how to organize, right? That is our primary goal here, is to organize as a team and collaborate and work as a team. So by just ignoring it and pretending like something doesn't exist is completely detrimental to the team and erodes morale, it erodes empowerment, it erodes our ability to work together, right? So for example, like Miguel's proposal, we're going to address Miguel's proposal because he was a team member and he has a proposal and he has Backbase, so we just address it, right? The same thing with your proposal, we just address it, right?
Can we ignore my proposal, Jay, please?
But why are we ignoring your proposal? I don't understand.
I just need my proposal to be ignored for now. Please. I just need that proposal to be ignored. Let's assume there is no proposal.
And we're doing that because we just want to ignore the policies and ignore our process of actually addressing proposals, or is there another reason?
I think we break policy most of the time, and that doesn't mean that if we ignore, I will propose it next time, not now. Let's just ignore for today, please. I don't want more from there about that proposal. Let's just assume there is no proposal.
But there is a proposal.
No.
Andre, before we continue, is the proposal now making sense?
I mean, this is exactly what I heard from the very beginning. This is literally the proposal that I heard, and it made perfect sense from the very beginning, and it makes sense now. I don't understand why there's such an issue about it. I just don't get it. And we have 2 policies to address this already, and we can create a new policy if needed. So anyways, just to go over our policy on proposals, the moment the proposal was brought up during the proposal section, right, it became a proposal to vote on, and it goes in the voting form automatically, right? That's just automatic, right? And this is really, really important. You know why this is important? It has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with any of us. We are the staff. We are the paid staff. When we invite the public and the public comes in, anyone who has a proposal from any group or any organization, we address their proposal and we put it in the proposal process, and we make sure that every proposal is addressed and that every proposal is considered equally to every other proposal. It's extremely important because this is what we're paid to do. This is the work that we do as an organization and as a network in terms of overseeing a democratic process, right? And it's also important in the relationship to an organization, a team, and governance, that when people give proposals, that those proposals are ideas and take a life of their own, and that everybody has a right to vote on the proposals and has a right to amend and address the proposals to work for them, right? So once a proposal is given, if someone else likes that proposal, and then another person, the person who originally gave it, decides that, oh, they no longer like it because this other person likes it, right? They can't just get rid of the proposal. The other person can take that proposal on as their own and continue to propose it, right? So the power is in the idea and the ability for the organization to function. That's more important than almost anything else, right? It's more important than, like, you know, we need to be able to function and make sure that proposals are addressed as the staff when we're working with other organizations and getting paid to do it, as well as with the public, right? So for me, I'm most concerned about just addressing the process of how we address proposals and how we ensure that all proposals are considered equal and that they get in the voting form, right? So the next process, maybe Steve and Jessica could work on the proposal doc, right? So that would be a responsibility for the full moon. And so we have all these proposals. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess we have at least 4 proposals. Does that kind of make sense, Albina, in terms of, like, the importance of just our proposal process and understanding how that works for everybody, empowering everybody in the community?
Yes, it makes sense.
So let's go ahead and so anyways, the reason that we break policies most of the time is absolutely, like, not acceptable to me. We don't break policies just because policies have been broken in the past. That's a terrible reason. But anyways, either way, the idea is that we want to postpone the proposal. So it's perfectly fine to postpone a proposal till the next meeting, and then we can address the proposal at the next meeting, which is perfectly fine. But it's still proposed, and it still gets proposed and presented on the voting form. Do you guys understand that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So any proposal, once the proposal is made, automatically goes into the voting form, regardless of whether it's voted on or regardless of whether it is approved or disapproved, right? It's all automatic. And that process of it being automatic is extremely important. And then if we want to postpone it, it's perfectly fine, but it still gets in the system, right? It's still a proposal that goes in the system, and we track it and oversee it and make sure that it's followed through it. All right, so let's vote on this Miguel one real quick. So we have 150, 150, and 100. If anyone wants to double check to make sure those are the correct numbers, if 150 was the correct number, we could look in the Skype group. Oh, shoot. Oh, my God. So let's just do this quickly. So Albina, you want to vote?
Yes, 100.
Okay, I'm down with 100. Steve, Jessica, Lucy.
100.
Jessica,
You guys, before you vote, did you check Miguel if Miguel has back pay?
need
Yes,
to
I mean.
check if Miguel has
Can vote and maybe he doesn't have any back pay.
Yeah, so regardless of whether we vote to approve this, he would need back pay in order to get the back pay for sure.
I'll vote 50, saying that is still going to affect the budget for other people.
Yes, that is true. It does
Miguel
affect the
has
budget.
back pay. He has
He does have some back pay?
1,047. Yes.
Okay. Cool. So that is,
I think also you need to check in future if you want to give someone back pay, you should not go and take it from a budget. It affects other members.
there's nowhere else for money to come from. There's only the budget. So if someone proposes back pay, the money comes from the budget. Our other option, of course, so this would be option 1. Option 2 is to hire Miguel for $150 at, I think he's working $7 per hour. Okay, that makes sense? So if you want to vote for option 2, you can vote for option 2.
Miguel has a problem. He cannot lower his budget. That's the problem. If we can just come back and work for 150, that will be okay.
Why can't Miguel lower his budget?
Every time he's proposing, his budget's always high, like 300 last time. 300. The lowest is 300. I don't know why
Sure.
he just does like.
Yeah, but that's just what he's proposing. He's perfectly capable of lowering his budget if he wanted to. He just doesn't want to. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Because you said that
Then if we have budget that Miguel can fit in, let Miguel come and work instead of back pay. Or also you can also put a policy whereby we don't have to give the back pay until the organization set up and give everyone back pay.
Of course, we don't have to give anyone back pay at all until we budget a pre-budget back pay. Of course, yes. So the only reason to be giving Miguel money would be to help him. He said that he is in a difficult place right now, right? So it's really based on our mission of helping people is the only reason why we would be paying him money at all, right? For sure. So, in terms of hiring Miguel, I'm open to that concept. And he did say that he changed his budget proposal, so we do need to review his budget proposal. But I feel like if we approve the back pay, we approve the back pay, and that's that. Okay. It just whatever gets agreed upon. So it looks here like we're going to agree to at least 50. So let's try to propose 100, and then if 100 doesn't pass, then we do 50. Does that make sense? Unless someone would rather hire him. So the proposal is to pay Miguel $100 from his back pay. Okay. Are there any questions about the proposal? No questions? Are there any concerns?
Let's vote for hiring Miguel instead of back pay. This back pay, you remember last time?
So you're voting for option 2, Lucy?
He always propose and get. It doesn't mean that whoever is silent there, they don't have problem. The thing is, if we need to give everyone back pay, let everyone. There is nothing like proposing.
Yeah, so that would be 0, right? So this would be, waiting to pay people back pay when everyone gets paid back pay. Does that make sense? That's voting for 0. So that option is 0. Does that make sense? Lucy?
It makes sense, but it's still the option for giving bonus or back pay is already there. So
we can make a proposal. We could propose that, nobody can. We can propose that nobody can get paid back pay until there's a back pay budget, and then we could all pass that and approve it and make it a policy, and then anyone could come around and make a proposal to change and say, we're now going to allow back pay proposals, and then here's my back pay proposal, and if that passes, then it changes. Do you see how it doesn't really matter to make a policy that no one's allowed to make a proposal, because then anyone can just make a proposal that would allow them to make a proposal, and if that passes, then they can make a proposal. Does that make sense? Like, there's no difference between voting for 0 and voting for waiting for people to get back pay when everyone's paid. It's the same proposal. There's no difference between this. Anyways, in the same way, like Lucy, we could propose Lucy gets paid one-time $100 back pay. Done. You know, if you're too morally high ground to propose that, then that's not the team's issue. Anyone can propose to get paid any amount of money from the budget at any time. If it passes, it passes. Does that make sense?
You know why I don't do that? Because I don't want to make a whole group the amount deduct because of my own problem. I consider everyone equal.
I agree.
I cannot take my
I do the
problem
same thing.
to let other people reduce the budget for the sake of my problem. No.
Yes, I
That's
agree.
why I don't propose my back pay.
Yeah,
If it's
so
not that I don't need money. I need money even never need money even right now. But the thing is, I cannot do that. I have to consider the rest of the people. I cannot take my burden to the rest of the members.
yes, and so my assumption is that Miguel is very similar, and the reason he's proposing this is because he's in a really, really, really bad situation, and he's not getting paid and he doesn't have work, right? So anyways, I think we should just focus on the proposal, go through the process. If someone wants to vote for option 2 to hire Miguel, right? So we have 5 options: $150, $100, $50, $0, or to hire Miguel instead. No one's voted for this.
I'm also voting for option 2. I think that one is okay.
Okay.
If we come and vote,
Albina.
it will be fine.
Albina votes for that. So anyways, the point is that anyone can vote for any option they want. Done. Right? Right now.
Yeah, I will vote for option 2 for Miguel to come and work.
Okay. So then this one still has the most votes.
I'm voting he should be re-employed.
All right. Steve,
Option 2.
Jessica.
Option 2.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, so you guys would prefer to bring him into the budget?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at his proposal. What's his budget proposal? He said he had an updated budget proposal. So I go to, where do I find his budget proposal? Actually, I think it's just in the budget, right? So if I go to the budget, no, that's the budget spreadsheet, main budget, rank budget, and I find the rank budget. It should have Miguel and Luis.
And also, Jay, in future, you need to come up with a different budget. When someone is in emergency, you need to help. You can just do it instead of involving the budget for all members on the team.
What does that mean, involve the budget for all members? What do you mean?
For the whole of the team. You don't need to inconvenience the whole of the team. Just have to have a separate budget for the emergency people who need emergency.
There is no such thing as a separate budget for emergency. We don't have that. So we have our budget. So currently we've got like maybe $1,500. You know, it's definitely between $1,000 and $2,000 per month maximum, right? The work that's being done is only $600 of work. We're not getting more than $600, $700 of actual work done, but we're still overspending, which is fine. But the point is that there's only one pool of money. So if we hire someone, the money has to come from somewhere. It doesn't magically come from some special emergency budget. There is no such thing as that. Because that's what I think you're asking for, to have some magical separate budget that doesn't affect anything. That just doesn't exist anywhere. There's no such thing as a magical separate budget that doesn't affect the overall budget? Is that what you're asking for? I mean, I just don't understand.
Yeah. I just say maybe in future if we need to help people on budget, we just need to have a separate budget apart from the budget, global budget for everyone, so that if someone propose like they propose back pay advance, that budget cannot affect the rest of the members, because most of the time when somebody propose advance, all members are affected. When somebody propose back pay, all members are affected.
Of course, but how is that possible to get rid of that? I just don't understand the idea that someone can, like, unless we vote to create an emergency budget out of the budget, aka take money out of the existing budget into a separate budget, then the emergency budget is zero. So there's only one budget that we can pull the money from. There is no separate emergency special budget. It doesn't exist.
I think in future we will need to just set aside from the budget, from the entire budget, the amount for emergencies, then before we allocate the.
That's perfectly fine. So we can definitely do that. But currently we have our income is equal to like $750 for the month, right? So then every dime more than that is coming out of Jay's personal finances, or not necessarily Jay's, but Jay's business finances, right? So I'm supposed to be Rico, Jello, etc. So the point here is that, you know, the fact that we're spending, like, how much are we currently spending, you know, like $1,500 to $2,500 per month plus. And that's just, this is just workers, right? That doesn't include all of the business costs. So, and an additional like $1,000 for business costs, right? So we're spending a lot of money more than we're bringing in. So, you know, in my perspective, you should be thankful and gracious to, you know, allowing us to spend more than the 750 to begin with. Period. The fact that we're spending more than 750 is already in the red. We're already in the red. So if we want to bring in enough money to allocate a separate emergency budget, we need to completely transform all the work that we're doing and do unbelievable amounts of work and do tons of recruitment, actually start running an organization professionally and being in the green, you know? And then we can do whatever we want with the money. It will be our money.
That is why I said before, you know, Jay, you refuse sometimes to also implement some other ideas that we have. If we say let people have their project, to be responsible for those two projects and get the work done for that, we are going to move. If we say somebody just a responsibility to pick out of the project to work on that, we are not going to move anywhere.
Okay, so how about during our checkouts that each person tell us the two projects they are overseeing? Sound good? Done. Agreed. That sound good?
Yeah. Yes. They have to take the project they feel like they can deliver something.
Okay.
And we have to put those projects as priorities. Then out of those priority projects, we pick what they feel like they can do it on the out of that project. Because I believe project has more responsibilities. But that person can ask for assistance, a few assistance if there is something is not clear. That person, he has a right to set a time to you to go and say, you know, Jay, I don't understand this and this. You need to move that project forward. No one shall go and back and always ask, which responsibility are you working on? That person makes sure that project is organized, have all the links, all the responsibility is clear. instead of just, people are sometimes confused. If somebody working on budget, they understand more about the budget. No one will go back again and waste time like I can go again and work with that person on budget because we have already someone who take care of that. For me, can take care of other things and we move ahead. If we are not going to do this, we don't move ahead. For me, I see that's the only thing. And it's going to be easier for someone to be answerable. Why this responsibility is not done?
And I completely agree with you, Lucy, 100%. Like in the whole model that we have set up, if people actually stepped up and actually cared about the organization, the very first thing they would want to be is a coordinator and start coordinating projects and overseeing it and getting all the work done. It's like, of course they would do that. If people cared about the organization, that's the very first thing that they would do is they would step up, become a coordinator, and make it and follow through with the work. Right? And the fact that that doesn't happen is because people just don't really care. So I agree 100% with Lucy, and we should do that. No problem with it. So, I totally disagree with the idea that we don't listen to people and that we're not helping, implement new ideas. I disagree with that idea. Because I do believe that, you and everybody is fully empowered to evolve this organization and move it in whatever direction that we want to and send it to. All right, so let's go ahead and get this vote done so that we can check out and get out of here. So this says the month proposal for September, October. All right. So then it says Miguel's individual proposal is $250 for 10 hours and the combined proposal is $270 for 11 hours. And the lowest is the same. So that's the lowest that we can do.
That is why I said you can't go lower than that.
And let's just get a average number here. So it's 270 divided by 4 divided by 11 is $6.13 per hour on average. And then the only other thing to consider here is because we are halfway through the month, so we can prorate for 1 month, which is equal to 2 weeks. So it's half, so it'll be 50%. So if we do 270 divided by 2, we get 135. So the minimum is $135 for 2 weeks at 11 hours per week. All right. So this is option 2. So it's $135. It averages out to about $16.13 per hour. All right, so that would be the proposal. I would personally say we could do both back pay and hiring, but either way, that's fine. So the proposal is as follows: to hire Miguel and Luis for 2 weeks, so they immediately go on 2-week notice. And it is $135. Are there any questions about the proposal? I'll make this bold because that's what we do with proposals. None. Concerns. My concern would be he wouldn't get paid for many weeks, possibly a month or more, because of how bad we are with payroll. So I would amend or an additional proposal for back pay / events. Are there any other concerns? All right, so how about we go ahead and vote? Are there any objections? Okay, objections, none. So we can just note, note this would come out of the existing budget for the month and or next month. All right, and then so we have consensus. So we can let Miguel know that he's hired for the next 2 weeks. And then the other proposal would be, let's just start with like $50, or maybe we could do $75. $50 advance to help him until he gets paid in about 1 month. I would definitely do more than $50. I would try to do more of like the 75 or 100 if anyone was interested. Concerns, prefer 75 or even $100. So if anyone wants to second the 75 or 100, but we could at least try the 50. Are there any questions about the proposal? And I guess the only question would be like back pay and advances are the same thing. So it's basically a back pay. So any other concerns about this proposal? No questions. So are there any objections? No objections. Are there any positive votes? Does anyone support this proposal? Hello? Is anyone even here?
We have no objection.
No objection. Okay, thank you. So consensus. Does anyone object to $75?
I think before we vote to hire Miguel, because we avoid advance and back pay. But you come up again with that. Okay, it's okay.
Well, we already voted to hire him.
Because we don't want to give him advance. Instead, we let him get work.
Okay, but he's still not going to get paid for like a month or maybe more. And he needs money now. So what I'm saying is that we would give him $50 advance immediately, and he can choose to pay it back if he wants to, but he doesn't have to based on our policies. I mean, it would basically be part of the back pay advance, right? But the idea is that we could give him $50 now. Lucy, are you okay with that?
I have no problem.
Okay, but you have a problem with the 75, but just stick with the 50. If he needs more than 50, you can let us know. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Or does anyone agree to the 75 or even the 100?
Is that on top of the hiring him?
Yes.
Yeah.
He could choose to pay it back, but he doesn't have to because of our policies. Because back pay and advances are the same thing. Anyways, it sounds to me like there are concerns with 75 or 100, so let's just stick with the 50, okay? Yeah. And we have consensus on the 50. It's not going to break the budget. We're going to be fine. It's going to basically come out of the Jello funds. All right. So I think we're done. Let's check out. Are we good? We'll check out.
Yes.
Abdul checked out earlier. I don't remember what he said. And Zilu also checked out. All right. So just to remind everybody, I'm going to give a score. We're going to vote how the session went. We're going to do your priorities until the next session. So this will be the next 2 weeks' priorities. And then you can also say whether you did voice, audio, text, computer in terms of your participation value. And then each person is going to tell us the 2 projects they're overseeing. And these must be a priority, and it's supposed to be something that you can accomplish and actually achieve some output. And obviously you can ask for assistance and get help, but you want to make sure that the project is organized, that all the links are organized, and that to reduce the confusion, get the work done. Who wants to start?
Okay, Jay, before you check in, can you put briefly project that's supposed to be people taking on? I believe someone like maybe Steve, I don't know whether they know exactly the project that priority as for now.
Okay,
Yeah.
So let's get the list of priority projects. For me, the best place to do that is hard stop, soft stop priorities, because those are our top priorities right now. Also, we can go to our global. No, it doesn't have projects. I think this one has projects. Let's find out. Look, we don't even have the link to the, oh, here we go, coordination doc. So here's the spreadsheet. It should technically have the list. Maybe it's this one, the responsibility spreadsheet. Here we go, projects, worker coordination, invoicing, elections, billing, invoicing, taxes. So priority projects. Budget, invoicing.
Elections.
Taxes, election.
Worker coordination.
Worker coordination. We can even prioritize all of our projects. That is something that Plasma is actually working on, is actually all of our project prioritization and status reporting. All right, billing, elections, worker coordination, invoicing, taxes, recruitment, calendar and schedule.
Yeah. Recruitment, calendar, and schedule, those are there.
Technically, it's not recruitment, it's investor relations. That same difference. Calendar and scheduling, we got that one. And let's see.
We got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Recruitment for coordination. So those are the top ones, and I would say that you know, we would just add in here. The other positions. So other positions that are applicable would be soft/hard stop coordination, client coordination. Okay. I think those are the only other 2 like top priorities right now that I can think of. And then actually we'll add one more. Tactical ops. Tactical ops. And this is Lucy, and this is exactly what Lucy is doing right now. So the tactical ops position for positions, right? This is exactly what this is. So Lucy's saying, as the tactical ops coordinator, we need to make sure that the positions are filled. And that's what her role is. So you're doing perfect, Lucy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. I think that's all of them. So budget, we have Abdul. All right. Thank you, Lucy. So who wants to go first? I think Zilu, we could keep on scheduling a calendar for now, but I'd like him to pass it on.
And also taxes. And coordinate taxes. Continue there.
Yeah,
Taxes.
Zilu can definitely do taxes.
For me, I'll do invoicing.
All right, so do you
And
want to
worker
check out?
coordination.
Want to check out, Albina? So do you want to
Albina, do you want to check out?
Check out, please?
Yeah. The session was good. I give it a 6. And I'll be coordinating invoicing project and worker coordination. And also we'll work on taxes. ASMO. Payroll. And budget. Thank you.
Steven, don't fear to take any position, even though you see someone assigned to do that. You are not. There is no limit. You can just do what you
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the session has been good. I can give it a 6.5. And for the next 1 week, I'll be doing calendar and scheduling, payroll setup. And also, I'll be making forms, HR.
That is election.
Yes, election forms. That's it.
Which project do you want to oversee?
Election project. And that
Election.
voting forms.
You know, election include for co-chair, all this.
Co-chair elections, anything to do with
Anything
the
to do with
election.
election. You have to, whenever you take a project, go back when you have time, review everything. Is that organized? Does it having all the required? If you don't understand, ask.
The best way is to ask questions related to the project you are taking.
And also, the requirement is that every person who's taking on a position needs to do position organizing, and we should actually prioritize that as the next step. And do training on position organizing at the Mercury session. So at the Mercury session, we need to do a full training on position organizing because it's a step up from responsibility organizing. And then every person needs to organize their position and then report back and get your position verified before doing the work. Okay?
Okay.
Or before doing the coordination. You can still do the responsibility work, in which case you need to do the responsibility organizing. Thank you, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else that Steve is working on besides calendar, scheduling, payroll, and elections, or are we good? All right, Jessica.
Today the session was good. I'll give it a 7. I'll be focusing on payroll, invoicing, and also calendar, and budget.
Okay. So what are you guys
So
doing?
Steve and Jessica, sorry.
What are you guys doing in calendar and scheduling? Because that's pretty broad, not particularly clear. And then also, what are the 2 projects that you're taking on? Or are you not going to take on a position, or what's your plan there?
I can take invoicing.
You want to work with Albina on invoicing?
Yes.
Okay, do you want to do a second one or just one? Okay.
And payroll.
Payrolls. You
Yeah.
wanna do payrolls. Okay, cool. All right, thanks, Jessica. I guess I'll go next. I thought.
The next.
Oh, you want to go next? Okay.
I'm going to. No, the session was good. I'll give it 5. No, 6.5. I'm going to work with the zeal on taxes. Include on K1S, and also Plasma. I think I need to. By tomorrow, we need at least to have the first report so that during the macro session, we'll present a report on Plasma. I'll work on Plasma.
On the internal setup report.
Okay, but that's for the Mars session, not the Mercury session.
Oh, not Mercury.
No, Mercury is for management. Venus is for executive.
Mars session also is very near. Yeah, it's very near. It's on 16th. So I will work on that. Also, I'll work on staff system. I'll try to see if I can understand more to do on staff system. And sponsorship program. The role I take is hard stop and soft stop coordinator and tactical coordinator. Thank you.
All right, I'll go next. So I also felt that the session was good. I would give it a 6.75. I feel like there was some difficult parts, but that overall we got through it, and that makes us stronger as a team. So instead of ignoring the difficult parts by actually going into them and dealing with them and addressing it, I think that actually really improves upon our situation, even though it's difficult. So I thank everyone for that. As far as moving forward, I have a lot of work and I'm a little overwhelmed. One thing I want to note is that my plan is to start taking Mondays off as well. My goal is to basically, I basically work every day of the week, but, to take Sundays and Mondays off for myself, and then work with the team on Tuesdays through Saturdays, 5 days a week. And then do my own stuff on Sundays and Mondays. I think that would be a lot more healthy for me, because doing 6 days a week can be a little overwhelming. It doesn't mean I won't be available on Sundays or Mondays, but mainly more like, Skype texting and just helping out answering questions, as opposed to full engaged like buddy team sessions and stuff like that. So anyways, we'll see how that goes. And I'll slowly phase into that. In terms of my priorities, I'll be working on the external client work with the mission within. I'll also obviously be working on, overall planning, organizing, and executive responsibilities, as well as the budget and the payroll we'll probably get the payroll done this week, I'm assuming. And also staff systems, I think, is a huge top priority. And taxes. We're going to be starting those taxes hard stop, which will affect me as well. So I'll be doing major taxes for sure. Okay, that's it. And then I'm not going to sign up for any of these projects because I have all of these and much more on my belt already. My primary projects are just more oversight, executive work, and external client work, and and training. I need to train other people on how to do all this work.
And also, you did not include the client work there on those priorities.
Yeah, the client coordination would be this one. Let's bold it. So the other positions, there's the hard stop coordination, Lucy. There's the tactile ops position coordinator, Lucy's doing that. But the client coordination is another position. And we need to do the same thing for all the client work. So every single client, we need everyone to take on 2, right? So need everyone to take on 2 clients as
I think what's on the stop hard stop priorities only. If we need to include all the priorities, then we will have more on client work.
Client work is a hard stop, soft stop priority because we have to do 28.5% client work before you get soft/hard stop.
Okay, that means all the client work that we have that under that.
But there's a big difference. There's a huge difference between client work and the project. So the projects are coordinator positions, whereas the client work are client managers. Every single client has a client manager. The role of a client manager is 10 times simpler than the role of a project coordinator, okay? So everyone should be able to take on 2 projects and 2 client manager positions.
Yeah.
Like being a client manager shouldn't be very difficult. And everybody needs to be doing client work anyways. So everyone should be choosing client management based on the client work that they're doing, like Lucy says. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's go through this next time. And we'll go, like someone needs to sign up as a client coordinator and then needs to coordinate this, just like Lucy did for all the positions. We need someone to coordinate all the client managers and make sure every client has a manager and that it's being followed through with and that there's a position organizing going on for each client. All right, I think we're good. Let's see what's missing. So budget, we got Abdul. Invoicing, Albina and Jessica. Calendar scheduling, Zilu, but this needs to be passed on. So this one's a problem. So we're gonna make this one red. Taxes, Zilu, fine. Worker coordination, Albina. Elections and voting, Steve. Investor relations / recruitment. So this one is a problem. Payroll, Steve, Jessica, and then client coordination. So we have 3 problems. So the task, maybe Lucy, this would be your task. Announce on Skype groups that we have 3 priority positions that must be filled ASAP. Who can take on these? All right, so we have the 3 positions. Okay?
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah.
Lucy. Awesome. And Z.
Jessica and Steve, you did fast verification on payroll full moon. Kindly go and check the figures. It's very important to be very careful. End month actual figures. For Lucy and me, there is a problem. That is what is holding us to do payroll. If you have a question, ask, but check on the figures.
Steve and Jessica, did you hear that?
Yes.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, great. Yeah, so get back to us, ask us questions. We'll get all that done and get everyone paid. Okay, I think that's it. I think we're done. Good work.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.